Hi, and welcome to Dr. Sean Says. It was an accidental. Today, we are going to talk about how musicians use cymbals to alter a pitch by either raising or lowering it.
Cymbals? I thought those were an instrument that you smack together to make a loud sound.
Well, those kinds of cymbals, spelled with a C, are an instrument. I'm talking about cymbals with an S that go in front of notes to change their pitch. We call these cymbals accidentals, and they're essential to our understanding of how to read Western European-style sheet music.
Okay, but I have to admit I'm not really following.
Oh no! Well, hopefully we can shed some light on the problem. Let's start with a quick refresher on the notes of the keyboard. Every white key before each group of two black keys is a C. We can then fill in all of the white keys by moving through the musical alphabet. D, E, F, G, A, B.
Yeah, we already went through this stuff. Let's get to something new.
Okay, just making sure we are all together here. Well, you may have noticed that so far we can only account for the white keys on the keyboard. Have you wondered what the black keys are for?
I did notice that. What's up with those?
Well, those keys represent other possible pitches. But in order to account for them, we need to use what we call accidentals.
Accidentals? Do we need an eraser? Should I be wearing a helmet?
Not exactly. Accidentals allow us to raise and lower pitches, usually by a half step.
Hold on there. Half step? What does that mean?
Don't worry. A half step refers to the distance between two adjacent keys on the keyboard. If there are no other keys between them, then you have a half step, even if there isn't a black key present.
Okay. So a half step just means the two pitches are right next to each other. I get it. But what does that have to do with accidentals?
Great question. Accidentals let us account for the black keys and add a lot more flavor to our music. If we want to raise a pitch by a half step, we use what's called a sharp. Take a look at C on the keyboard. The black key immediately to the right is one half step higher than C. That makes it a C sharp. Whenever we raise a pitch by half step, it's like moving one key to the right on the keyboard. So we can fill in all of these black keys as being D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp. Flats work the same way, except they lower a pitch by half step and thus move one key to the left on the keyboard. So that means if I want to lower this D to D flat, it's like moving one key to the left. Again, this action holds true for whenever we lower a pitch by half step. That means we can fill in all of the flats on the black keys as well. E flat, G flat, A flat, B flat.
Wait a sec. There are two names on every black key. What's going on?
Good question. Whenever we have two or more different names for the same pitch, we call those pitches enharmonic.
Now I'm really not following. Two names for the same pitch? How do I know which is which? Does it even matter?
Don't worry. It's okay to be a bit overwhelmed at first. For now, remember that written music will typically tell you what accidentals to play. But as a quick reference, we use sharps to raise pitches and flats to lower pitches.
Ah, I see now. What about if I want to take a note with an accidental and make it a regular old pitch again?
Glad you asked. In order to cancel an accidental, we use what's called a natural symbol. Naturals allow musicians to cancel a previously used accidental, like moving the pitch back to a white key on a keyboard. Wow! We can also raise and lower pitches by more than a half step using double sharps and double flats. These are much more rare than other accidentals, but they show up often enough to know. These accidentals raise or lower a pitch by 2 half steps, so F double sharp would be this pitch here, enharmonic to G, because we need to move up 2 keys from F instead of 1. Similarly, E double flat is this pitch here, enharmonic to D, because we need to move down 2 keys from E. One little thing before we quickly discuss how to translate all of this to the written staff. You probably noticed that there's no black key in between these groups. Just because there's not a black key there doesn't mean we can't use accidentals to raise and lower these pitches. It just means we don't move from a white key to a black key or vice versa. Instead, we just move between adjacent white keys. How about some new music? Yeah, that's the ticket. Let's examine the sheet music to see how accidentals work in action. Take a look at the first couple accidentals right here.
I see those. They're sharps, right?
Amazing! Right you are. These are sharps, F sharp and D sharp to be exact.
That's right. These pitches are on the treble clef. That means the first space is F and the space below the staff is D.
Exactly. If you're confused here, make sure you go back and check out my video Treble with Clefs to help you. There will be a link in the description below. When we move F to F sharp and D to D sharp, we're raising those pitches by a half step.
And I see we cancel that F sharp with a natural soon after. That makes it regular old F again.
Very observant. We also have 2 flats right here, G flat and E flat.
Flats lower pitches by a half step. So in this case, we're moving down from G to G flat and E to E flat.
Right you are. Fantastic. Notice how we cancel the flat not soon after with this E natural?
I see. Wow! This makes a lot more sense now. Accidentals give us access to a wider range of pitches by raising and lowering notes.
Exactly. We also use accidentals to help us create different relationships between pitches and make scales, chords, and more interesting melodies. What? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date on what Dr. Sean says. That's all for now. Take care, folks.